Yeah, and then she would even point out, she's like, why do you have patience for everybody else in the world except for, us? Like, well, you don't understand, like, these guys I work with, blah, blah, blah. Again, I was like, it's the same language, we're almost completely disconnected from each other, and I'm like, if it has nothing to do with work, I don't want anything to really do with it. I wanted to, but I couldn't do it. And so I would just like wall myself off over time. And it took time to get there to where it was just like constant, and it wasn't till towards the end of my time there, I was realizing all of these things were the reality. It took me forever because she'd be like, hey, this isn't right. This isn't normal. Come to find out, it's not normal for people to behave that way unless that's where you worked. It was completely common across the board, and it wasn't till later on that she started realizing it. It was a common thread.
Wisdom is built her house. She has hewn out her 7 pillars. She has slaughtered her meat and she has mixed her wine. She has also furnished her table. She has set out her bait. She cries out in the highest place of the city. Whoever sees will let him turn in here. As for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine I have made. Forsake foolishness and live, and go in the way of understanding.
And I did finally, when I was at my breaking point, I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to get him help. I am understanding he's suffering. Like I'm witnessing him slip away and there's nothing I can do about it. So I did end up finding spirituality and, nature and, trying to figure things out on my own, leading to some new age and occult stuff. But I started a little Instagram page just to kind of talk about the things I was going through vaguely. I didn't want to put the spotlight on him or call him out. And I thought if somebody understood, there would be relief and some solidarity in it. But when people started DMing me, it broke my heart because I was not alone in it. There was so many wives, husbands even, and then it even spanned beyond the teams. And I had cops and EMTs and firefighters messaging me, experiencing the same kinds of things. And then that led me into...
Is that how you got into with mental health and
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't until, you asked me about worldview and what my worldview was at the beginning of my career versus my worldview at the end. And it was almost 180 out. You're so bought into, I don't want to let any of these guys down, which is, it's true. I still feel that way.
Right, it's valid.
It's completely necessary, right? Because you want to be the best that you can be because you care about these dudes and you don't, it's better that you die versus one of them kind of thing, especially if it's going to be your fault, right? And that was kind of my view is I'm always going to put these guys first in anything. If I'm going through that door, I expect that dude to be right on my butt to cover that corner that I can't see, vice versa. It's like that. It's a contract that is signed in blood, lessons learned in blood, and we're going to make sure that we're always covering each other no matter what. And so to have, I started having actually a lot of physical injuries, and that's what made me realize that I had all these other things going on. Right?
Can we dive into that a little bit?
Totally, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a physically demanding job first, as well as the mental aspect of it, and then the spiritual component. Now looking back, having the understanding of how God created man, it's the body, it's the soul, and the spirit. So all of those things, no matter what happens to one, it's going to affect the others, right? It's just like you were talking about the physical application of violence. There's always going to be this spiritual component that is going to affect the whole man, whether we realize it or not. And so when I started getting physically injured, my first really bad one was, it was a combination actually, is I crushed my spine and I had also torn my shoulder completely.
What a mercy.
And so it was like, what do we do the surgery on? I can't even remember what we did the surgery on first, whether it was my back or my shoulder. But yeah, I don't even remember. So I crushed my spine on an op and gave me really bad nerve impingements in my leg to the point where I was like, had drop foot and was dragging my leg around. And I kept going with that because I didn't want to slow down and stop until I couldn't do it anymore. And the shoulder was also injured at the same time. I tore the supraspinatus. I got to the point where I couldn't hold my rifle anymore or throw a door, so I was just compensating with weird body positions, right? And it got to the point like I couldn't put down an armrest with my left arm. I couldn't. Very common thing for us. I got to shoulder the rifle, open a door, and throw the door. I couldn't do it anymore. So I was like, okay, I have to get surgery. We had really good surgeons, sports medicine, and all that stuff there at that command. But I didn't realize how painful, like the back was, I was instant relief. I walked out of the hospital the first back surgery because they just decompressed that nerve. And it was just like the first time I had relief in, a year and a half. But my shoulder, it ended up being a total rebuild. So I tore the supraspinatus, tore my biceps tendon, tore the, the labrum in the front of the shoulder all at once. And so they did a total reconstruction, like 4-hour surgery, 7 anchors. They cut my biceps tendon. They put it down lower in my humerus. And even to this day, my shoulder sucks. It's half the size of my right side, and it hurts all the time. And I was also in a sling for 5.5 weeks. It was like she had to bathe me the whole 9 yards. I couldn't take it out of the sling, and to get in the shower, I would just hold it without the sling. And then she had to bathe me and then get it back in. But it was like 18 months of rehab just to get back fully operational, back into the team. I was still working when I shouldn't have been.
Wow.
But yeah, it was till I was fully cleared off, blessed off for that. It was like an 18-month rehab. So yeah, back surgery, shoulder surgery. In that time period, you feel useless. Because your whole job is to do this job. I can't because I'm injured, And so that starts to wear on you mentally. And then get back in, doing the job. My spine just keeps deteriorating. So, they did the decompress the nerve. They went through the posterior approach, so cut through the muscles, cut through the ligaments. Basically, just discectomy, took the whole disc out. So now I'm bone on bone, and I continue doing the job. Yeah, I lost like 2 inches in height in my spine from that compression and then removing the disc. So bone on bone, and that was like 2014. I had that surgery. It wasn't until like just pushing forward. It got to the point where it's like my spine was like shifted on it was just super weird. It was very painful. She was getting me dressed every day, putting my boots on for me, and I'm just, I can't even like tie my own shoes.
What a mercy. You're still pushing through though.
Yeah. And, I'm like all over the place with this because there's so many different injuries and surgeries. I had surgery on both my elbows, like in 2017, I think.
And just so everyone's clear, this is in combat.
Yeah, it's combat, training for combat, you're just wearing your body down because it's nonstop pace, And I'm not unique in this. It's not like woe is me. This is happening to everybody. Yeah, because nobody wants to quit.
This is the demand on the person.
It's like a pro sports team. You see these guys get hurt, surgery, back out there, right? Like same thing. It's like you've put so much into this, you don't want to give it up, and you feel like you're letting the guys down. That's the number one thing. Like a lot of people don't realize it's not even selfish at this point. It's kind of selfish to get there, but once you're there, it's like all about the boys. You have this bond that doesn't exist anywhere else. Nowhere else it exists.
And I just want to say this too, because this is the second time it's come up, so I have to say something. There's this term called Philotimo. Senpai Isios talks about this a lot, but it's this Greek term, and it's like the love of honor. And it's something that is just so powerful, so profound. It's so lacking in our society. And it seems like this is one of the only places where it's existing and engendered to a certain degree. I tried to explain to people, it's like Philotimo is the the fireman who sees the building on fire and knows one of his fellow brothers in there, or hears a kid crying, and he knows he's not going to make it out, but he goes in anyways. That's Philotimo, you know? And this is what you're describing, you know, and it's so rare. And it's interesting because I think this is also important that talking about the violence again is that it's important that we're not talking about just, you know, kind of gratuitous, you know, it's like you have a mission, you have an occupation, in some regards a vocation, you know. So I just think this is important because it's not like the addiction some guys like in the street get, you know, to kind of you know how some people, they'll medicate themselves, you know, with whatever kind of street drug. There's guys who they will pursue violence on the street level because, you know, I hate how this sounds, but they have no priest, they have no therapist. So violence is that outlet for them. And they're not going to be, you know, in the military or even operating these high levels. But the brotherhood that they do find, even though it's corrupted, and even though it's kind of fake, because it's kind of false, because
they'll rat on each other immediately.
Yeah, they'll rat on each other sometimes, and if they don't, it's like you're in there. It's like you're on your own. But I'm just saying that there's a human component here that it's just that it's a human component. And you were on the kind of upside of it in regards of operating with the elite, but there's still a price that you're paying for this violence.
Yes.
There's still a price. And so it's taking a toll on your body.
Yep.
You're caring for him. You're seeing him kind of deteriorate emotionally, mentally, you know, this kind of distance. And I want to hone in on this a little bit too, because it isn't just, again, military. Everyone in military has this to some degree, probably.
Yeah.
This is a different, I can't stress this enough. This is a different animal because you're having to, you know, kind of bifurcate yourself in a way that I don't think people really understand. You know, it's like, and I kind of want to go there a little bit too, because your body is falling apart and you're moving forward because of this Philotimo, this love, this honor. But at the same time, let's just be really frank, you got something that only a certain percentage of people have, which is this ability to kind of, I'm on, you know, to this degree. I'm curious if in the same way, like adrenaline kicks in for anybody, kind of allows them to do what they want to do, right? Or what they need to do, let's say. I imagine for you it's a completely different thing, because for you, you don't need adrenaline. You don't need a contextual situation to go. You can go. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that, and also tell me, were you aware of this? Like, did you understand that this was part of how he's functioning in regards of, and am I seeing it right? You know, this kind of compartmentalization, like where you're like, oh, he's like this because he's seeing the craziest things and doing the craziest things a human being can do. And he's having to come home and, you know, take out the trash. And like, is this running through your head? I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot in that sense, but it's just like, as a woman who, it's like your dad wasn't military. You don't have this experience. You know, what's going on there for you guys, you know, however.
Yeah, I mean, for an example, like on a training jump trip, you know, to go do military free fall. It's very different than just fun skydiving or whatever. It's like, you know, wearing 300 pounds of kit, O2, jumping out at night, night vision, full
pounds.
Yeah, it's like you got your rig, you've got, you know, your body armor, the navigation board, full weapon system. You could have like a ladder strapped to you. You could have a machine gun or a mortar tube or whatever, rocket strapped to you as well. And you're just doing a line out, like following each other out into the abyss, completely blacked out, offset DZ, you know, so you're having to jump out at altitude, fly in a stack together under night vision, land on an unknown DZ. You'll do like, 150 plus jumps in a short amount of time at night, doing that type of thing. And then, you're just coming home. And you could have a guy get grievously injured or wounded, on a training trip like that easily, or killed. It's happened. But that just becomes so routine. Like, that's a Tuesday at that place. Hey, we're going to go do a live fire hit, blah, blah, blah. Unknown DZ jump in, and there's just like, cool. Take less than an hour worth of planning, go do it. Because that's what's expected of you. So, like, even things like that, I'm going to say no other unit in the world. And people might try to argue that on a different component that is supposed to be the same, but those guys are great. They're heroes. They're very highly trained, but nobody in the world can do that. I'll just say that. But that's what's expected of you, and it's just like down to, it's enlisted run. It's not like we have officers doing this stuff for us. It's we're doing that from the ground up, and that's the level, and that's the level you're expected to operate on literally a phone call's notice, And so it's whether if it's to go save a life or to go take lives, and in the process of saving that life, you're probably going to take a lot of lives to do that. And so that's what's expected of you, and that's how you're always on. And over time, physiologically, that ends up like, they've studied this, you're stuck in fight or flight and it never turns off. And so that's when you'll start to see like those cracks beginning to show. Like, you can keep it together when you're doing that.
Right.
Anything else that's not that is not normal. And so like, that's what you're built for now. And so if it's not that, then it just doesn't work.
Wow.
And that's when we started to see, it was towards the end of my time there, between all of the different surgeries, recovery, like, and it started to
The
eat.
meds.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm telling you, like, well, we didn't even hit that yet. Yeah. So through all these like crazy ortho surgeries, I'm on all these different narcotics, and like, you start to get accustomed to that. And then top that with drinking, the self-medication component, because I can't get anything to turn off in my head. I'm physically in pain, chronically in pain, basically from head to toe, constantly. But you're still pushing forward because you don't want to let the guys down. It's so weird to even talk about like that. Like, it doesn't seem normal. It doesn't, but it was normal.
Yeah.
That was
your life.
It was my life. That was what was normal. But looking back, obviously, it was just like, what the heck was I even thinking? And I even told her, like, objectively, I should not be doing this anymore. But I can't not do this. And she was like, I support whatever you want to do. I was getting ready to take over a team as a team leader towards this point, and it was just like, she's getting me dressed for work. Should I really be taking over a team? And let's not even talk about the mental aspect of it, and the physical aspect. Like, should I be taking a team right now? And then that's when I was like, because even then I was like, mental health is not real, like only weak people have this thing called PTS or whatever. Like, it's not even real. People are making it up, and that's like, she's like, no, man, like,
I'm witnessing this.
You're not okay. But I didn't even think it was real, because I was such a materialist.
Right.
Everything was only material, and I'm just like, let's ignore all these things in my head. Well, I mean, we'll go deeper on that in a little bit, but it's quite obvious, like, demons at this point.
Yeah.
But it was like,
now it's obvious.
Well, hold on.
yeah.
I mean, let's go there. Like, I hope you've enjoyed the preview. Please consider joining the Synaxis of Sophia community on School. You're going to find the link in the description. And it's there that not only are you going to find the full length of this episode, but you'll find all the full length episodes that we've released so far. Also here, you're going to have exclusive access to the content of my catechism, various lectures and teachings. There's community engagement on everything ranging from the saints to spiritual warfare to just the general life in the church. It's a place where people want to be there to encourage others and not to get into fruitless debates. So please, if you enjoyed this content, join the Synaxis of Sophia on School. link in the description, and we'll see you there.